Tonight, Rolling with the Beard, we're reviewing Metrorunner. This is Metrorunner. Metrorunner is a Rondel card drafting resource management game for 1 to 5 players. Players assume the role as runners traveling the metro that only runs clockwise in Mirror City. Players will be doing this, collecting resources to use to fulfill these jobs and hopefully fulfill some of these contracts and advancing on the notoriety and influence tracks at the bottom of the board. At the end of the game, the player with the most points is the victor. On their turn, a player can move 1 or 2 spaces for free. They can move further if they want to use some of their resource cubes or cards that they've obtained during the game, and then they will complete the action that is either on the space that they're on or in the district that they're in. This space here allows you to collect cubes, and the number of cubes you collect is dictated by where you are on the notoriety track. There's different landmarks on that track that will allow you to collect 2 or 3 cubes. You start off collecting just 1, but throughout the game as you move up on there, you get to collect more cubes whenever you take that action. This next space here allows you to collect 2 of these job cards. You can take any of the ones face up in the offering here, or you can draw a blind from the top of the deck. Now these cards are very important because these are the cards that you're collecting these cubes for to fulfill that will give you a good chunk of points, and they will give you special abilities throughout the game, such as discounts on completing other cards, or allow more flexibility of using cubes of one color as a cube of another color, or sometimes they won't give you any upgrades, but they will give you a big chunk of points, or sometimes they'll give you things such as collecting an additional cube when you select a certain color cube. And when you fulfill one of these orders, you will place it into one of the 3 slots on the bottom of your player board, and those will give you things like bumps on the notoriety track, or bumps on the influence track, bumps on the bumps, bumps on the bumps. Or they might just give you credits or additional cubes. And the credits are useful because you can use them to boost your turn. For instance, you can use the car service that allows you to go anywhere on the map. You can crash the jobs board, which lets you basically reset the jobs here at the offering. Or you can do the viral marketing, which will increase you on the notoriety or influence track, whichever one you're the lowest on. Or you can strong arm the locals, which is my personal favorite. It's actually a really good move. Yes, it takes 2 credits, but you kind of get a whole nother turn. It lets you take another action during your turn. However, you can't do the same action that you just did, but still, it's almost 2 turns in 1. And another action that you may have is the hack action. Let me turn your attention to the bizarre pano tiles here in the middle of the board. When you do the hack action, that allows you to manipulate these tiles to hopefully fulfill one of these 2 network cards. When a player takes this action, they choose one of the network cards. For instance, maybe I'll choose this one, and then I can manipulate these tiles to try to connect these 2 green locations here. And when manipulating these tiles, players can either rotate 90 degrees, swap adjacent tiles, or push tiles. Players also have an additional asymmetric special ability of their chosen character. So for instance, on this one, all I would need to do is spend 1 action to rotate this 90 degrees. And now I have connected this green dot to this green dot on this network card, and then I will receive the benefits on the bottom. Now you may notice that there's other colors, the purple and blue. In addition to completing the green objectives on there, if you have unlocked the pink and blue on the notoriety track, you can also get even more bonuses when completing one of these network cards. And once a network card is completed, you flip it over and then you add cubes to those locations on the map. And that brings me to the next thing that you can do is you can take the action of the different district that you're in. And those actions will give you the cubes that are at the location, or that is how you fulfill the orders that you've been collecting these cubes for. And when you fulfill an order, the order has to match the color of the district that you're in. So a yellow order can only be fulfilled in the yellow market square, or a red one only in the red downtown location of the board. And after you fulfill those and tuck those into these slots underneath your player board, that is when you're trying to complete these objective cards for the end of the game. So for instance, if you had a blue, a black, and a red all in the same column, that would allow you to score these extra points at the end of the game. Or, purple and black to just get 3 points. And in addition to that, the player who completed the most objectives matching their player color also gains bonus points at the end of the game. And players will score points for how far they've creeped up on the notoriety and influence track at the bottom of the board. Player with the most points wins. So that is Metrorunner. If you're familiar with the channel at all, you know I am a huge fan of Thunderworks games. They're one of my favorite publishers. Everything they come out with is really good. And this game is no exception. This game kind of hits the sweet spot and checks all the boxes for me. It's easy to teach. Yet there's still plenty of important decisions to be made, and it's very pretty. The table presence on this game, like the board is big, bright, and bold, yet still has like this kind of seedy underground, Blade Runner type feel to it. It's really the art direction is fantastic, and the art on all the cards is amazing. And each card has different art. It's just really nice to look at, and the pieces too. The clear pawns that each player gets to move around the board look amazing. They kind of look like they could be gummies, like you could bite the heads off of them. And my favorite flavor is the blue one because it's blue raspberry, even though there's not really a blue raspberry, but maybe it's blueberry and raspberry together, blue raspberry. Anyway, and the pieces that you move around on the notoriety track down there at the bottom, those are really nice and they stack well and they kind of look like arcade buttons. I kind of wish they clicked, but they don't. But just the production is ridiculous. And this is actually a prototype copy too, so I can't wait to see what the final product is. But right now the game is just amazing. But enough with the aesthetics. The game has enough player interaction between the logistics of where you are on the board and maybe blocking out other players on spots they want to go to, and with drafting the cards to get those better orders maybe that give you better ongoing abilities. So there's a little bit of engine building in the game too, which I enjoy. I love the Rondel system. There's just so many great little touches to the game, yet it all just kind of ties together. The one thing that I was questioning at first was the hacking action with the panels that you move around on the middle of the board. My first gameplay, I really didn't enjoy that portion of the game all that much. I thought that it was hard to kind of plan out your turns because somebody might go and then move all those tiles around, kind of slowing the game down. But what I found though in previous plays or more plays after that, I think we just had maybe kind of a bad randomized shuffle that one game. It just happened to be our first try at it, because none of the games after that was really an option. Granted, a few of us had played the game before, but I felt like it didn't slow the game down like I thought it did previously. So that I think is actually a really bizarre yet fine, lovely addition to the game. And one thing I did notice though is if, say, one player is kind of stuck, oh shoot, they thought that they could do or one of those hacking actions and get some stuff that they needed from it. I've noticed it, which is kind of weird because a lot of the people I play with, we kind of enjoy mean games, but we've found ourselves almost sometimes helping that player with their hack. It sounds strange, but like it was just kind of interesting because you'd watch them and be like, oh, actually, you could do that in 2 moves instead of 3. If you switch these and then push that, then it was just kind of a bizarre phenomenon, but it seemed to keep happening repeatedly, and everyone enjoyed helping other players, advance in the game, which is very bizarre because it's not a co-op game. I wouldn't say it's an overly mean game, but there is a significant amount of player interaction that I do enjoy in this game, and for me, that's usually pretty important. I kind of tend to shy away from some of the games that kind of feel like solo experiences, and this is not one of them. But between the Rondel, the drafting, the light portion of engine building, and the variable setup, like the contracts, those are actually tiles that you shuffle. So each time you play the game, those 4 contracts are different. That might dictate what jobs you're going for and where you tuck them and what benefits you get from completing those jobs. So the variable setups in this game really adds a lot of replay value to it that is greatly appreciated, and it just helps keep the game fresh every time you play it. So I mean, there's really nothing not to love here. It's beautiful, it's plays well, it's easy to teach, and this game is definitely staying in the Beards collection. Definitely pick this one up. Metrorunner by Thunderworks Games, phenomenal game. I can give it this one a 4.5 out of 5 Beard strokes. Definitely check it out. And if you found this episode entertaining or informative, please consider clicking that subscribe button. Thanks again for watching another episode of Rolling with the Beard.